What's up, y'all? Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. We are still waiting on a very crucial piece to this Evo motor, and that is the oil filter housing. That still has not arrived yet, but there is plenty of things we can take care of, plenty of things we decided we're gonna do, so let's hop into it. So, I'm not gonna lie to you, things were getting pretty hectic around here. It's very scatterbrained. There's lots of things out, lots of things coming, all that kind of stuff. And so to keep track of all that, I went ahead and got a board, wrote down everything we got right here so we can mark it off one by one as we do things, keep track of things a lot better, and know where we're at with everything, what's coming, and all that kind of stuff. So stoked about that. We have also decided that we're gonna go under the car to put the motor back into the engine bay here. We're gonna jack this thing up, get it up into the air, put the engine on some carts, roll it under, and it should be much easier, much simpler. And that being said, we can also put on a bunch more things onto the motor now while it's out of the car, which is what I wanted to do in the first place. But now that we're going under it, we can put on a lot more things and get it as complete as possible when it goes into the bay. And like I said, we're still waiting on that stupid oil filter housing, but there's plenty of other things we can add onto this thing, get things buttoned up, and get it prepared to go into the bay. First things first, our 10-an wrench came in, so I want to get these outlets locked down. Whenever I was threading these things in, we just threaded them in until they stopped. They got super tight there towards the end, but there they are. Ooh, looky there, brand new oil cap. I was gonna do a Tomei one, but I saw some images and it just sticks up so far onto the motor. I just thought it looked kind of funny, so went ahead and went with OEM. Maybe we'll get a custom badge made right here eventually, but for now, boom. Now, one thing that we did decide to change, if you saw the was it last video? Maybe. Either way, we had some things going on with the PCV valve, the catch cam was not vented, all that kind of stuff that we had to figure out, and we did. But since then I've thought about it and I decided to just go ahead and go with a vented catch cam from STM. So we got one of those coming, but went ahead and got one of these guys, this little 10-an fitting here that just pushes right into this hole in the valve cover here where the PCV valve goes. We'll put some gasket maker right on this little seated edge right here. We'll push this in, and then we'll have that 10-an fitting that goes right to the catch cam that will mount to the transmission later on. We're gonna be using some good old 3-bond, and it should do the trick. All right, I mean, they said it was tight, and I mean, that little hammer part there was a little bit unexpected and a little bit uncomfortable, but we got it in there. I think it sealed up pretty nicely. We got some stuff sticking out the side there, so I think it's gonna make a pretty good seal there, and we should be good to go. Next up, I need to remove the valve cover so I can get a wrench on that cam in there to hold it steady, and then we gotta put in the MyVet cover on this cam right here, and we should be good to go with everything up here, and we can lock down the valve cover. I wasn't stoked on taking the valve cover off again. I just don't like doing it. I don't know why, but I don't like exposing the engine like that. But we did get it off of there, and look at those cams. Well, fudge. I need to run to the store real fast because I don't have a tool, a hex tool that fits in this little hole right here. It's a 14mm, took my caliper gauge, figured that out, and I don't have that here. And so I hope to one day have enough tools here in the garage to where there's no more store runs or last minute things. I just have it all here. All right, and we're back, and what do you know? Looky here. Boop. 24 foot-pounds, and there we go. Now we can put the valve cover back on, and I'm not gonna lock it down totally just in case, but we'll put it back on and get things squared away here. Since we're now going under the car, I can start mounting some other things on as far as like decorative things and not worry about it as much. So we're gonna install the cam sensor heat shield right here. And it is a little custom piece here, of course, with the custom blurple color with some bronze logos. My goodness, that is sick. I really just can't wait to see all this stuff put together, but putting on little pieces like this is really bringing it all together for me in my mind, and whew. Oh yeah, quick update. If you've been following along, you'll know we had some issues with our Skunk 2 dipstick tube. This little bracket here that mounts to the intake manifold broke off, and it looked kind of rusty up under the welds and all that kind of stuff. So contacted Skunk 2, got a hold of them, sent some photos and all that kind of stuff, and they are sending us a brand new dipstick tube. The process was pretty painless, so pumped on that. It's not here yet, but it is on the way. Next up on the Yenda, that top line right there says make a coolant hose. So these two lines right here go away because of the Skunk 2 throttle body. So we need to make a loop right here. Instead of capping them off, we'll make a little hose loop here and we'll connect those two together, and we should be solid with that. We have our Vibrant 6-an hose, which should do the trick. So for the hose here, I want to take off our little tape lines here, and I want to use a regular hose that we have hanging around here as a measurement piece, so we know how much to cut off of our 10-foot roll over there. Okay, so it'll push on about that far probably. We're going to loop it up around this way, and it'll probably push on about that much right there, and that should be good. We'll mark this, and then we'll go measure this much here and cut it off that 10-foot roll. We cut off about 6 3/4 of the hose, and these little hose pliers are the bee's knees. And there we have it, and it gets a little bit like skinny right here as it bends through, but it's just a loop, so I'm not going to worry about that. I don't think it'll be too big a deal. We'll get some clamps on here. I have some stainless ones on the way, so we'll get some of those clamps on there, and that should be good. So yesterday I was out here tinkering, and I got some brackets back from Cerakote, and this one here is the alternator bracket. Now, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but from before, they trimmed off quite a bit of the bracket to get it to clear some things there. And so putting it on here, I'm pretty certain that when I took it all apart, this top bolt here was missing anyways, but I just can't get it to line up properly. It's not clearing that MyVac line. It's very tight in here, and there's not, like, it's just not fitting. So my solution to that was I got a hold of EvoSpec Performance, and he has a tensioner kit that ultimately gets rid of this piece here, which is the auto tensioner that mounts on the bottom of the motor, gets rid of that and turns the alternator itself into the tensioner point with a little rod and all that. And so that should be pretty cool. It's not here yet because, like I said, I just figured it out yesterday, so we got it on order. It should be here in a day or so. So we're going to move on to the next piece that mounts onto the front of the motor, which is the power steering pump. Now, this thing is absolutely filthy, but we got brand new O-rings, lots of brand new stuff going onto this thing to try to freshen it up a little bit. We'll hit it with a ton of degreaser and all that. I'm not going to show you guys all that because it's just me spraying it with some degreaser, hitting it with some brushes, getting it cleaned up. We might paint it black. I think I kind of want to do that. We'll see when we get it cleaned up, but let's go ahead and get that thing cleaned up, and we'll get it mounted onto the brackets and onto the motor. You guys know the drill. It took way longer than expected to clean this thing up. There's a lot of funk on there, but we got it cleaned up, and you know I had to do it black. Look at that. Okay, while that is drying and setting up and doing what it needs to do, I think it looks super nice black. Really happy with how that turned out. So we'll let that dry for a little bit. I don't want to be messing with it while it's still kind of wet and tacky and all that. So let's go through and we will tighten all these bolts and stuff for the bracket down to spec, and then we will put on the other brackets that hold the power steering thing on there, and we can put some titanium in there. These little effers are 36 foot-pounds based off of my little documents over there. So we'll go 36 on Mr. Torx. As per usual, we'll blue marker these up, and this is complete. Next, we'll mount the AC bracket and all that with some titanium hardware. Now, did I need tie hardware for these brackets and stuff like that? No, but it looks a lot better, and the bolts on the motor before were super rusty right here, so I figured, why not? Now we're going to mount what I'm not going to call this right, but I'm going to say this is like the carrier bracket for the power steering pump. We're going to mount that on there with some more titanium. I figured the pump was dry enough, so I went ahead and installed that on there too, and it looks so good. Oh yeah, that looks ridiculous on there. Titanium's popping on there really nicely. This little bronze guy here. Ooh, sneak peek actually. Burnt bronze power steering heat shield. Yes sir. Yes sir. We still have to snug everything down, but I had to mount this thing on here with its actual hardware that we got, and good grief. Alright, let's put this new stuff onto the power steering pump. We got a crush washer, joint, 2 O-rings, and we should be set. Real quick tip, I'm already starting to take it off, but if you put tape around like a jagged piece like this that the O-ring has to go on the bottom of it, it slides over it really easy that way. Otherwise you'd have to go over all of these little grooves because it goes down here, so you got to slide past this and that, so the tape gives you a smooth surface to slide it all the way down. Boom, there we go. Brand new everything. We got new crush washers, new O-rings, new O-ring inside of there, and everything is good to go, I do believe. I am so glad I decided to paint this thing black. It might not seem like it, but we got quite a bit of this list taken care of. Over the next couple of days, we have several things showing up as far as hardware and stuff is concerned. I've been waiting on hardware, it feels like forever, but all that's finally coming, finally showing up now, and so that should open up quite a bit on this list here to take care of. And so over the next couple of videos, we should be able to get this thing off of the stand, get the clutch on, transmission mounted up to it, and all that stuff. We'll get it onto the carts, we'll jack this thing up, and we'll roll it all under there and back into the bay. We're super close now, it's super exciting, and I can't wait to see it all in there. Going under the car is going to be so much easier and less stressful on me than going over it, and so I'm super excited. So thanks for watching. I do appreciate it very much. As always, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about the process and the progress, and if you have any questions, drop those down there as well. I'll be glad to help much as I can, chat, whatever, and I will see you next time. Bye.